head closer to the top of the screen, by the way.
How about that?
That is ideal.
All right.
It says it's broadcasting. Are you on the channel?
I'm in the chat. Let's see.
Did anybody see us yet?
Are we live? Yeah. See anything?
Might need to refresh.
Fine, I'll check myself. I'll check myself before I wreck myself. Yep, live it says. Okay, I guess we are live. Cool.
Can you see us live?
Yeah.
That was a delay. Okay.
Right. Perfect.
I'm just going to tell everyone.
Perfect timing.
Hello, everybody. This is George here, Sir Valamont, and over there next to me is Camson, also known as JP, and we are once again live streaming all about Storm Wars. As usual, it has taken us a few minutes to get started simply because, well, it likes to be finicky. And
what's your definition of a few, George?
29. That's a few.
All right, let's try to center my screen a little bit.
It's always the case that we're ready to go, and then either the sound doesn't work, or the video doesn't work, or whatever it is doesn't work, and it takes us forever to fix it. Anyway, hello everybody, welcome. We're here to talk today a little bit about tournaments, which is so I'm sorry, JP. Why have you done this to your face, where you are now like barely on screen?
What?
Yeah, you're barely on screen. I can see the little monkey puppet in the background, though. So that's important.
No, I'm looking at the Twitch live feed, and I'm perfectly in screen.
Yeah, okay, if you say so.
Oh, oops. Well, maybe not.
Yeah. We're here to talk about tournaments today, which are an important topic for a lot of reasons. And in particular, we've had a lot of complaints and issues with tournaments that we are addressing. And I want to talk a little bit today about tournaments in general, all the things we can do with them, all the things we may be able to do with them, and where we're going, basically. And at the same time, explain a little bit why we haven't done very much with tournaments in the last couple of weeks, which is a very simple explanation, which is that we've been very busy with the release of iOS. So I'll get us into that. If you guys are new to our streams, we host these live on the weekends whenever we can, most weekends. We may miss the next couple of weekends starting now for various reasons. We'll try not to, but that has to do with travel. And
yep, unfortunately.
But when we do stream, we do a number of things, the most important of which is that we take any live questions you have. So if you want to ask me questions in the Congregate chat, I'm looking at that. If you want to ask me or JP questions in the Twitch chat, he's looking at that.
I'm looking at that.
And during the course of the stream, we often will give out some door prizes, which are just free prizes to people who happen to be watching the stream, and we ask trivia questions for in-game prizes. So we'll give you things like epic equipments or epic cards, in the game. Now, a couple things you need to know. First of all, we are doing these streams in part to help advertise our game. I mentioned just now that we were working on iOS, so we're working on a release for mobile for Apple-based systems. It's the iPhone and the iTablet and all that stuff, or iPad, I guess it's called, and so on. And that's taken up a lot of our time. In doing that, we are hoping to rapidly expand our player population. And we are, in order to actually get a lot of players, we're doing a whole bunch of marketing around that too. So we're partnered with a couple of promotion companies, and we're going to have a really big marketing push in a few weeks here. And so part of what we're doing as well is we're trying to get a lot of people following our streams and following our YouTube channel, where all these streams are archived. So I said there are two things you need to know. The first thing you need to know is that you will have a higher chance of winning a free door prize on our Twitch chats, on our Twitch streams, simply by following our channel. When you follow our channel, you get like twice as much chance of being selected for a random prize. So please take a moment to follow the channel. Take a moment to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is linked to here. It should just be Storm Wars Game on YouTube. The reason I'm asking you guys to do that is because the more followers and the more views we have, the easier it will be for us to get pro streamers to stream us, and then that actually will increase our player base a lot in a few weeks when we launch for iOS. Anyway, sorry for the monologue. The second thing that you need to know is that if you do win a prize, you need to tell JP in the Twitch chat what your in-game name is so we know to whom to send the prize. Anyhow, so that's a little
George, do we have
introduction.
a YouTube channel?
We do have a
Yeah, we
YouTube
do.
channel. It's called Storm Wars Game. Very much like many of our social networking channels. It's Storm Wars, all one word, with the word game immediately appended after it. That's the standard lingo for video games. You will find our Facebook page and our Twitter page also by those names. Anyhow,
Yeah.
here's
So, shall we get to it?
yeah, let's indeed get to
Shall
it.
we do it to it?
I'm going to pop into the game here. I'm in version 2.78. You guys, if you're not in 2.78, probably are going to want to refresh and get that version. Storm Wars, as you all know, is a collectible online card game. If you are new to streams, if you are new to this game, by all means follow along with us. By all means ask live questions. Although there are some other streams that may be better for you to watch. If you're looking for an introduction to the game, I recommend the very first stream we did, which is now, by the way, been fully closed captioned, which you'll find on our YouTube channel. If I had thought ahead, I would have actually gone to our YouTube channel here, but never mind that. Another great place for you to go is right here, which is the Storm Wars FAQ, which will answer all your basic questions, so I recommend the players do that. That is linked to from our main page. Anyhow, I'm here in game now, and I'm just going to go directly into tournaments since that's the topic of the day. And as we talk through this and as we field your questions, we will, of course, also be doing trivia and giving out free stuff.
Absolutely. And I'm monitoring the chat, so keep it exciting for me, guys, because, you know.
Because you can only hear me talk for so long before you want to kill yourself. I thought you were going to comment on the fact that I'm in a new office now.
Well, you know,
nice
people
office.
have been asking why you don't appear to be in jail anymore. I told them that my monkey is the one that's now in jail. Clearly, he's wearing his convict fatigues.
He's wearing his convict suit. Has the chat noticed that maybe this should have been a trivia question? How many arms did John Paul's monkey used to have? Now it has two.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. So another quick thing, people were asking me just now about the timing of these streams. Our arena season ends every Sunday around this time, and we haven't adjusted back the hour for the timing of the arena. So there's about half an hour left as I'm speaking live now. But we have adjusted back, according to daylight savings, the stream timing. And we usually stream on Saturday, but we've been doing a string of Sundays recently because we couldn't make the Saturday. So unfortunately, it's coinciding with the end of the arena. So we'll be a bit smarter about that from now on and not have people trying to multitask. Usually, if the stream is on Sunday, basically as of now, if the stream is on Sunday, it will be happening directly after the end of arena season so that people don't have a conflict. Anyhow.
That's right.
Here is the arena, incidentally. What now?
I said we do our best.
Well, we do something. I don't know if it's our best. We do our best given all the circumstances. Anyhow, so here we are in the tourneys, and right now in the game, all of our tourneys are draft tourneys, and draft tourneys are very good because new and old players have the same advantage. In a drafting tourney, you are selecting cards that are randomly offered to you, and you are not choosing cards that are in your collection. So if you are a veteran player, you don't actually have an advantage. That's why we like this format. One of the things that's important to know about tournaments, and one of the reasons they're very popular is that this is the main way that players get equipment in the game. So if I pop over just very quickly to my army screen, my army building screen, where I put together all my decks, you can see here there are
Nice decks.
2 pieces of equipment. Sorry, guys, he's Greek. There's 2 pieces of equipment right here, which I have assigned to this deck. These are all the equipments I own, and I can basically equip them just the way I equip cards to my deck. So then when I'm in an actual fight, those play an important part in the actual game. So the way you accumulate equipments generally is by playing tournaments and winning equipment boxes. There are other ways to get equipment boxes. You can buy them directly in the game shop for gems, or you can find them randomly in chests if you're just a grinder. That's a little harder to do because they're pretty rare. You can see that if I get at least 20 wins, I get an epic equipment box. So a lot of people have been asking, for example, why is the threshold so high? Why do I need 20 wins out of basically 25? And that's a really good question, because if you had a true draft in which everybody had roughly the same deck, or at least roughly the same deck in terms of deck strength, because it's a draft tournament, it would be really hard to win 20 times. Now, unfortunately, when we started all of this, we started with a very high threshold, basically with the intention of seeing how hard was it. And we've gotten a lot of people exploiting in tournaments, which is a natural phenomenon that happens when the rules of the tournament are not very well put together. So we take that in stride and we will fix that. But basically, people were using a lot of alt accounts to create bad decks entered into the same tournament that they could continue to beat and continue to win against. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the mechanics of that and how we're going to fix that. But at the same time, just note that the reason that these thresholds are still very high is that we have yet to have a really, let's say, set of tournaments that have a lot of integrity to them. So it's difficult for us to know exactly how hard things are. And we need to know how hard things are before we can decide how to reward players appropriately. We're not just going to lower the threshold immediately while people are still exploiting and then everybody gets free stuff. That would be bad design on our part. So these types of fixes are things that we are thinking about, and we encourage any kind of feedback from the players in the forums or elsewhere. At the moment, the best place to contact us in terms of forums are the Congregate forums. Even though many of our players are mobile players, we have a following on Congregate. You can easily find us there, and this is all the forums. There's actually a stickied thread on card and game balance, and another stickied thread all about feature requests and improvements. So either one of those places, you can talk to us.
So, George, Crocker360 is asking, did you guys ever crack down on the hack that's out? What hack is he referring to?
I don't know, but if you would like to be more specific, I can answer that question. So, I mean, we generally are aware of a lot of hacks, and we treat them more or less the same way, which is that we fix them. But in some cases, we may, give somebody a little bit of rope to hang themselves with, so to speak. I don't know quite what he's talking about. Obviously, if there's some new exploit, I'd love to know what it is. Anyhow, so
yeah, sure he'll elucidate on that. I have some other questions kind of building up around tournaments. I'm sure we can get to them when you're done with the intro.
Yeah, happy to talk about all these problems, or not problems, but issues. I'd like to show you how our tournaments are currently working, and then also talk about the ways that tournaments work in general across a lot of card games. And before I do that, before I go into that intro, I think that we'll maybe do what we frequently do on the stream and just start by giving out some free stuff, just to encourage people to keep watching us. Okay. I am, by the way, this whole time monitoring the amount of time left in the arena season. And probably for 3 minutes around the arena season, I'll tell everyone, okay, it's ending, so you guys won't miss it as a result of watching the stream.
Okay.
Do you want to ask a trivia question, JP?
I do want to ask a trivia question, but let me link you. Well, I don't think you can do much about it. There's what is this? What is this thing, Crocker360? some Storm Wars cheat codes hack
Okay, well,
on
you know what?
apphackcheat.com. We'll
Let's
we'll
look at
probably
that
we'll
after
probably
the
look at
stream.
that offline, I guess, like after the stream. But thanks for kind of bringing that up. I'll obviously send that over to George so he can check it out. Another question while I set up this first door prize is: any plans for constructed tournaments with various restrictions? Question from
Yeah,
ZVI55.
great question. I actually would like to talk about that in a minute. The short answer to that is we know all kinds of formats, and what we have to do first is we have to get the basic format, like the basic tournament format, right. And once we do that, the world is our oyster. We actually used to have different kinds of tournaments than we do that were non-drafting tournaments as well. So we can just press a button and that exists again. But for the moment, because there are issues, we'd rather sort of fix things before we start expanding into other formats. But it's a great question, and I think that one of the best things about card games is that you can have all kinds of different formats and all kinds of different game modes. Sometimes you have what we call emergent gameplay, which would literally maybe translate in this context to player-made modes, things that players want to do, and they sort of create their own rules around it, and we might be able to then implement that in the game. So give us specific examples of what you want in terms of constructed and so on, and we can discuss it and perhaps potentially eventually implement it. That would be a wonderful thing.
Okay, guys. So for the upcoming door prize, I just typed this in chat as well, but it works on a random roll system. Anyone who's
Wait, you're doing
inside the
a door
chat.
prize rather than a trivia?
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing.
Well, I assumed
You
we'd do
said you said
both,
to.
but if you're doing a door
Okay,
prize, then I
well.
need to hop over here and show people what they're going to win, and that's fine.
Okay, so I'm just going to explain how both of these things will work, just for anyone new. So it's a random roll system. If you're in the chat and you've typed something in the chat, this is important, you'll be eligible to win. It'll pick you up. So if you haven't typed anything since the beginning of the stream, just go in and type any old nonsense. That's fine.
Just say hello,
And
JP.
just say hello, or I'm the best, or you love my monkey, or whatever.
Wait, what?
Um,
Oh my God.
any of those work. And let's see. If you're a subscriber, all right, so we love people to subscribe to the channel. I actually am setting this so that if you're a subscriber, you're twice as likely to win. So, that's a little bit of an incentive to subscribe if you haven't already done so.
And one other thing I'm going to point out is you are not supposed to be watching the channel with multiple accounts in the attempt to win the prizes more easily. That is pretty transparent to us, and we obviously will be able to figure that out based on the fact that you only have one in-game username. So please don't be ridiculous.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay. So, do you want to say what the door prize?
So normally what we
are?
do for these prizes is we open a box or open a random item, and you can choose either to win 25 gems or the item. So for this next door prize, we're about to give away a free epic card, which I will open in this epic tome. You won't know what it is until we open it, and I actually don't know what it is either. So go ahead and choose somebody, JP, and that person will just type into the chat whether they want the gems or the free card.
For the free card. Okay, so here we go. First door prize of the day, not the last, certainly. So if you haven't typed, type. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good countdown. Should I have done a drum roll right here?
I just want to keep people awake. So the winner is Sir Mim.
Sir Mim. Okay. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Sir Mim.
but Sir Mim like Big Sir kind of
like
Sir.
survive.
Yeah, like survive.
Okay.
Mim.
Well, he survived your wordplay. That's surgical precision with which I came up with that, don't you think?
Yeah.
Sir Mim, would you like to have an epic card, or would you like the 25 gems? Please enter into the chat right now what you want. Murph Griffin would be so proud.
Apparently, we're dealing with the lag effect. So he wants the card.
All right, here comes the card. And the card
And
is
he also gives me a
a
wink too. I don't know if
Nokosa.
that's
Wow, that's actually a pretty decent pull. That is one of the epics from the New Frontier set, and it is the only card in our game that has triple attack. So it's got a heck of a lot of potential. Congrats, sir. Now, please don't forget to tell JP in the Twitch chat what your username is in the game.
right. That's important. So, Sir Mim, if your game name is different from your Twitch name, just send me a message, and
Even
I'll
if it's different by
file
like
that.
one character, like we need to know what it is exactly.
Yeah.
Anyhow, congrats on that. We'll give out some more prizes in a little bit, and we'll have actual trivia questions as well. So let's get back into tournaments here. And we were talking about different modes of
Oh wait,
play.
what was the prize, George? Just I'm writing these down.
Nokosa. Keep in
Good.
mind that before we give out prizes, I also will review the entire Twitch chat log and Twitch video when I archive it on YouTube, just to not to check after JP, but I'll also make sure that everybody gets the right prizes. In any event, we are here to talk about tournaments today, and I'm going to hop into this tournament actually, just to show you how it works. So.
Speaking of, I think there are actually some questions that I haven't gone over while you're doing that.
So here's a standard draft tournament format where I'm given a selection. I get 4 random cards, and they're all going to be within the context of the larger rules of the tournament, which I probably should have looked at more closely, but I think that it was basically Atlanteans and Orcs. So 3 of these cards are Atlanteans. It's one of our factions. One of them's an Orc. These are common cards, so obviously I'm going to have a common in this spot. So the way these things are organized is we're going to have sets of 4 cards from which I can choose one, and it's always going to be the same rarity. And every other player in the tournament is also going to be given a set of 4 random cards with the same restrictions in the tournament, but also with the same rarity. So if I end up with a deck of, let's say, 10 commons, 10 uncommons, and 5 rares, every other player will also have that, except that he'll have different cards based both on what he was offered randomly and on what he selected. Now, there are a lot of issues with this, I realize, but this is the basic format of drafting tournaments. One of the most basic things that we want to do as an improvement here is we want to enable people to strategize better. In most drafting formats that I've played in, and I maybe should point out that JP and I are longtime card game players and developers, so we've seen quite a lot. I just want to point out that in most of these other games, you actually draft more cards than you end up using in your deck. And that is a central part to being able basically to overcome some kind of a situation where you have 4 cards that are bad or that don't fit with your synergy of your deck or with your strategy, so you aren't kind of screwed over by that. It also enables you to, if you have, let's say, 30 cards and you're only playing with 20, to change your deck during the course of the drafting tournament. That is sort of a common option, but probably something that's much more difficult for us to do. So I think that what we want to do is we want to find a happy medium. And probably what we want to do is we want to let players select all of their cards at the same time from some sort of a drop-down or scroll. That way you actually can form all your deck in a very coherent way at the same time. And in so doing, you'll be able to create a deck that makes a lot of sense. You'll be able to see your hero, you'll be able to see your equipment at the same time. We could also have it so that you only select 25 out of a drop-down of maybe 30 options or something like that, so that to further the synergy, we have to figure out whether that's easy or possible. But that's some of the basic thought behind how this particular interface can improve. For the moment, I'm just going to go with what we have, and I'm going to start really from the very first card, thinking to myself, what kind of a deck do I want to have? So maybe I can start going for some cavalry units and hope that I can pick the beast-related hero, Kiri, at the end of this and have a strong beast-related deck.
So are there any issues, would you say, currently in draft in terms of people taking advantage of how it's set up? Or do you think it's working pretty well, George?
In terms of how it's set up, meaning what I just discussed? In terms of how one picks cards?
No, just how the tournament is set up. Let's see.
Well, I mean, there are,
It's a bit of a leading
yeah,
question because
there's some issues, and one of the main issues is, for example, that the way that our tournaments currently work, we have players able to join a tournament and then instantly start playing the tournament. And that has an advantage, which is that you can start playing instantly. But the disadvantage that that has is that by definition, there are a different number of people in the tournament when you start early than when you start late. It also has as advantage that once you are in a tournament, you have much more information about the tournament than people that haven't entered yet. In other words, you can see everyone's deck. And that's actually a problem because it means that it incentivizes players either to be complicit, which is to just tell each other, oh, by the way, there's a whole bunch of this type of deck in the tournament, you should build this type of deck, which is not really in the
hmm
spirit of the tournament, but probably not that big of a deal. And then more
right,
problematically, it encourages people to create an alt to join the tournament just to see everyone else's deck, to basically scout the field so that they can then build another deck
right,
themselves. And there's
right.
no real way that we can stop that given our current mechanics, and there's no reason players wouldn't do that. That's intelligent. You do want to be able to scout the field. So that's something for us to deal with, and I think that probably what we eventually have to do is do what most games do and have a sign-up period which is separate from the actual playing period. The reason we
hmm
haven't done that again is because there is an advantage to being able to play instantly. So we have to figure
Right.
out what solution happens there.
Let's see. There was a suggestion way up in the stream in the comments from Easy for You to Kill Me. He says lower the wins or lowering the wins in draft and getting rid of rare coins used for draft will stop the cheaters. What do you think about that?
What are the two things he said? Lowering the wins.
Lowering the wins. I'm not sure what that refers to, and getting
I
rid
think
of rare
lowering the wins
coins
means
used for draft.
giving an epic chest for less than 20 wins. And then what's the other thing?
Getting rid of rare coins used for draft.
Well, so what he's talking about is the fact that when you have a list of opponents that you have to play against in the draft, you can use a rare coin, which is an item that players can find randomly in chests and they can hoard and they can buy them in the shop. They can use up one of them to refresh the set of opponents that they can play against. And that's very useful in drafting tournaments because normally you have to play each of the people you're offered before you get new players. By using enough rare coins, you can continue to refresh and basically enable yourself to play against the same opponent over and over, which is good
hmm
if you're exploiting and you've created an alt account with an intentionally weak deck, but it's also good in general for you to play against weaker players. So I think he's saying that if we get rid of rare coins, we remove that mechanic and therefore the incentive for people to exploit that way.
Right.
The bottom line, honestly, is that we want there to be rare coins in tournaments because it's the point of rare coins, and that you should have an advantage that is given to you by being able to refresh and being able to use an item like that. The problem is that you're able to play the same person 25 times in a row. That shouldn't be possible. Probably it should be that you can only beat any other opponent once. And the corollary that's related to that, the correlated problem, is that there frequently aren't enough opponent decks for you to play against in the first place so that we can
hmm
enforce a rule like that you have to play somebody more than once.
Right.
I mean only once. So the way that we solve that second problem, there are many different ways we can do that, and we can discuss that as well. Um, One of the things that people have suggested is that we would create bot players,
hmm
so they would follow the rules of the tournament, of the structure of the tournament, and create randomized decks that players can play against. But a bot's deck is never going to be very good. One solution that I really like that Lyle came up with recently. Lyle is Less Ink. For those of you who don't know him, he's one of the devs on the game. He does the back end and a lot of the stuff that supports things like tournaments. And he said that one thing that we could do, and I think it's a great idea, is every single time we have a tournament with a specific set of rules, we
hmm
will basically remember what the decks are that players made for that tournament, and we'll also remember how well those decks did. And then
Yep.
those will enter an archive for that set of rules, so that the next time we have a tournament with that set of rules, we actually have a bunch of already built player decks that we can use as our bot decks, which are so they're
Huh.
intelligently made player decks And of course, we'll be
Right,
careful to
right,
take a
right.
range of decks in terms of how strong they are, so we're not just using the best deck, so
Using
everything
the
becomes
best or the
impossible.
worst or whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we'll enable ourselves basically in the future to have these archives of decks so that any tournament type
Interesting.
you can play against a whole lot of players. Once you have a whole lot of possible decks you can play against, which are player decks, it will enable us to enforce things like you can only win against a certain opponent once, and so on and so forth. And I think that solves the problem.
Huh. Very interesting. I think a lot of potential. Uh, people seem to think that's an interesting concept as well in the chat.
Right.
I think we should do a trivia.
All right, why don't you, while I'm selecting cards, and keep in mind that in the background I'm trying to get a deck that has as many beast or cavalry units as possible for my deck synergy. In the meantime,
Okay.
JP, you go ahead and ask a trivia question. Remember that for trivia, well, why don't you tell them the rules exactly, and I will focus on this in the
Sure. So the
background.
trivia will I'm just going to type the question in the chat. Top three, or not the top three, the first three people to answer to type the correct answer in chat will be winners. And I think that the prize, our standard prize is it's 25 gems. Is that correct, George?
That is the standard prize.
That is the standard prize. So shall we start with something that's fairly
And you're
easy?
going to give this to the first three people who answer correctly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
You want people to spell things correctly or so on? I guess it depends on
I
your
mean,
question.
you know what, I don't want to be too kind of strict about this because as long as it's like I can understand what you're typing and understand the answer that you have in mind, like, you know, I think we're gonna be good. I think I'll be a little bit lenient this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So let's see. This one is a fairly easy one, I think. So, but just to get everyone kind of warmed up.
I don't
Let
even
me
know what you're
get
going to
that ready.
ask.
All right, so hum. Hum. All right,
What is the
so
delay? What is this trivia
ah, just
question?
just typing it up. I want it to be
Oh, you're going to
nicely,
type it into the chat as well.
yeah,
Okay.
I type it into the chat. Okay, so here we go. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and so remember, first three people to get the right answer get a win. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Great.
And the question, which is already in the chat since a while, is oh wow, yeah, that was way easy. Yep, the right answer. So the question the question is what faction has the most beast units? The correct answer is orc, or well, orcish tribes, but orc works, orcs. Kiri is not a right answer because Kiri isn't a faction, although Kiri is a hero of a faction. But that means that Delhi Lama, Crocker 360, and 5 Kizo, or Schizo, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
are the winners.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys.
Yeah, congrats indeed, guys. Some of our regulars there. And each of you will get 25 gems. We usually will give the prizes. You'll find them on your account later today, probably in, let's say, 3 hours or something like that. Keep in mind, by the way, anybody who's watching, that we are about 3 or 4 minutes out from the end of the arena season. So if you guys want to focus on that, please go right ahead. We will continue to build my deck in the background. We'll keep talking, but we won't be asking trivia or giving out door prizes that requires your instant attention. We'll start doing that again in about, let's say, 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, and guys, I'm just going by what's in my chat log. So
I will be
I literally
reviewing that
just
as
go.
well.
I literally just go down the list. So yeah, and I can't do it any other way.
Is there some issue?
Well, I think depending on whatever lag issues and whatnot, some people appear higher on their own computer versus what I see. So I'm
Right.
just going by what I see, guys. That's just how it is.
Okay. Well, I will do my best to verify that too. Generally, the way these things work, you will always see your name higher on the list than others. And also, the way these things work is that when I review these things, if it seems like pretty obvious that with a timestamp and so on, that, you know, a person or two people were very close and knew the right answer,
Yeah,
and it was just a matter of typing speed, I often will also award the prizes to people like that. So
yeah. I just enabled timestamp on my chat, but it's not in seconds. It's or milliseconds. It's in
it
minutes.
should be
So
it should be fine. I will
anyway,
I'll review all that stuff.
yeah. George will review. He will. He is the final arbiter. Did I say
Arbiter,
that right?
really?
Arbiter.
Yes, arbiter.
Well,
That's
I mean,
true.
you
I hate
are
my R's. I bite them. R.
you are working, so we are arbeiting.
You are biding your time as I work. Wait, what?
We are biting. I mean, I guess we are biting, but we're
Oh
arbeiter,
my God.
Arbeiter. You know, like the German, like
Which German?
Arbeiter. In German, Arbeiter is to work, right? Like work or something.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah, we are
That's my
arbeiting.
sister. My German is pretty poor.
Anyway, Gastarbeiter. Anyway,
JP, ladies and gentlemen, JP. All right, so I've been selecting cards, and occasionally I'm faced with a choice like this one, where frankly I don't want any of these cards in my deck. And this is just one of the things we were talking about earlier. Maybe we want to have a system whereby you have 30 different rows to choose from, and you only need to choose 25, something like that. But we will think about all the different things we can do here to improve deck cohesion and synergy. I guess I'm going to have to go with this guy right here. And obviously take the beast. Take the beast again. Choose hero. Well, that's going to be Kiri, since I chose a beast deck. Draft complete.
is it a beast deck literally or figuratively?
It's literally, but also figuratively. So, in any event, one of the things I would really love, although I think it would be pretty hard for us to do, is the ability to view your draft deck after you've selected it. But never mind that. I am now going to fight a
Yeah.
random person and see what happens. Luther is a very good hero and very hard to beat, but who knows? Maybe I've drafted well. Oh, look, my first card is my only spell. Isn't that fair? I'm just kidding. That's really a bad draw. In any event, let's see what happens here. So this is another person who's drafted their deck in the tournament. We'll see if I have some success against this person. So far, not really. Wow, I'm really getting dominated here. Obviously, I have drafted poorly. I'm sure people are shocked about that.
Sir, see his alt account in the draft. I don't know what that means.
Somebody's saying I should fight against an alt account, my alt account.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any alt accounts in this draft.
Do you know what a dingo is?
Yes, a dingo is a wild Australian dog.
Okay. Do you know what a frisky dingo is?
I think Frisky Dingo is a web series that certain non-intellectual people like to watch.
And if by non-intellectual you mean me, then yes.
That is what I mean. Yeah. Well, this is going better. I guess I have to use Kiri to beat Kiri. Anyhow, so I'm trying to rack up wins here, and the more wins that I get, the better the prizes that I get. The prize is going to be an equipment box, which is going to have a random piece of equipment in it. Hold on here. Tourney rankings. You can see that I have one win. Currently, I'm slated to get a silver box. Somebody already has 18 wins, which is a gold box. 20 or more is epic.
Continue. Please continue.
I am continuing.
To show us what not to do.
So, the arena season should be over, so hopefully people are tuning back in. We're going to actually start getting towards wrapping this anyway, but we have here basic drafting tournament. The concept of it is very good. We will improve these things. I think that what we've gone over so far is already a good set of improvements. That is the ability to select all your cards, equipment, and hero at once so you have more synergy in your deck. Possibly the ability to have more options than what you select. Maybe you could select your deck size as a result of that, but more importantly, you could have some cards that you're not going to put in your deck. And once these things are operating smoothly, well, quite frankly, we'll change this so that you actually get a little bit more incentive to do really well. And a lot of players have asked me, well, why don't you put gem prizes in for a paying gem tournament? Well, you've got to understand that if I made 25 wins worth 50 gems or something like that, that would encourage a crazy amount of alts and a crazy amount of exploiting. So we really need to fix that problem first. And once it's really working well, I am totally, totally down with 25 wins gets you like a legendary equipment or something, or 24 wins gets you an epic equipment box and 15 gems and stuff like that. Excuse me. So that we really incentivize people to try to win and challenge them. There's no,
Hey George, I want to know about raids.
raids.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me for coughing.
Sorry, I also want to derail you.
Good job. No, well, raids are basically a concept that exists across a lot of communal card games and communal games in general, like this one. I'll fight in the background here. And we're all for it. Now, we think of raids, and I think most games do, as a more PvE version of group play because the opponent is something that we will invent, basically. It's usually a raid is a large boss that teams of players play against. I think of that as an extension, basically, of the campaign. You know, maybe you come across these, big monsters somewhere or whatever. I'm totally for that. I think that we will eventually do that. That's a little bit a matter of having the time and having the budget and having the community support. So I don't have a time frame for that exactly, but it's absolutely an idea we're aware of and like. So I'm sure we'll get there. In terms of immediate content, we have the iOS launch, which is coming in just a few weeks here, and a lot of marketing around that. And then right after that, probably the first major content thing for us to focus on is going to be a campaign expansion. I don't know that. I'm not the only person on the Storm Wars team. It's obviously a discussion. I think, though, that it'll probably be a campaign expansion, which will parallel or sort of fill in the story of the Frontiers card expansion. So probably some more campaign levels, more islands or whatever. And then we'll take it from there. I also think that fixing tournaments is going to be one of our major steps. So that should come fairly soon. Anyhow, shall we give out a couple more free things?
I think we should do a door prize because Moon Harper has to go, but maybe we can do a door prize before he goes. I don't know him personally, but he sounds like.
So
a nice
is this
guy.
your alt account, JP? Because that wasn't very subtle.
He took the
Let's
time
see
to
who wins. It's
go.
Moon Harper.
Bye, guys.
What's the probability of that?
Look, this happens automatically.
Campson.
All right, we're doing a roll.
All right, keep in mind, guys, that if you
something.
follow our Twitch channel, you have a twice as likely chance of being picked for this random door prize, which is a random epic card. I'm going to now go to my little list of...
All right, 3, 2, 1, and rolling.
Okay. So I'm going to open this epic tome if somebody wants me to. You can always pick the 25 gems. The last prize that we gave out was a Nakosa, which is a pretty decent card.
That's JP's alt. The winner is Hug He SM4 or Hugh ESM4.
I know that's hard
Hughes
to pronounce.
M4. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
cool.
he won.
Nice. Well, would you like an epic card or would you like 25 gems? Take the gems. Take the card.
He'll take the epic.
Okay, here we go. And your epic will be a dragon mech. A pretty good one, I must say. That's from the Dragon set, and that's probably the most tanky card in the entire game. It works extremely well with Malik, or Malik, if you will, who is our Dark Elf expediting hero. So congrats on that. An epic dragon mech for you. And if you'd like to ask a trivia question as well, JP, for 25 gems, you are more than welcome to do that.
Sure. All right. Let's see. I have this typed up, so guys, I will copy that into
See if I can
I'll
beat
paste that into the
Bellatrix with my
chat.
deck.
Trivia question. All right. So, like before, first 3 people to get the right answer, as I see it in my chat, will win.
So you're not going to announce what the thing is in the stream so that I can even hear what the trivia question is?
Well, no, I will in this case. The other one was so easy; they just answered before I had the chance to ask the question on the stream. All right, but here we go. That's in the chat now. And the question is, what is the name of the campaign node you have to beat just before you get to the Dragon Islands?
Right. So what is the quest, basically, that from which you, once you beat it, you get access to the Dragon Islands? I know what that is.
Yep, and we have correct answers. So Clockwork is not the right answer. Airship Thingy is not the right answer. Shipyard is the correct answer.
Well, those are both pretty close to being the right answer.
Well, Airship Thingy, I can't accept Airship Thingy.
Shipyard or the shipyards, I think, is the proper.
Yeah, so shipyard works as 2 words or 1 word. So let's see who got this in my chat right. So Hughes M4 again. Oh wow,
You're really giving it your alts.
Captain Thunderwalker, and Crocker 360 wrote ship yachted, but I think he meant yard. I think that's just a typo.
That's your call. Well, congrats, guys. Each of you will receive 25 gems on your game account in, I don't know, 3 hours, 2 hours, something like that. Pretty soon.
Yeah. So I'll God damn this chat thing. So I will send that to George.
What's wrong with the chat thing?
No, it's just it keeps moving. People keep chatting.
Anyhow, you guys can see that I'm having some mixed success with my Beast deck here. If you have any other questions or ideas about tournaments in general, equipment in general as it is existing in the game, partly through tournaments, please feel free to bring it up. We can answer any question. I think that this more or less covers our plans. I'm curious if you guys think that the ideas that I've put forth here are good ones. Happy to have a discussion about that over any concerns or support or non-support of the idea. I do think that we will be working on these things fairly soon. It's really just a question of getting iOS together and making sure that's all functional. But tournaments are an important priority for us too.
I agree. I totally agree. Sorry, I'm still reading chat that I missed here.
No problem.
Yeah. And it's also 8:16, which means I'm 1 minute late for my next commitment, George.
Okay, well, we'll wrap this up. Are there any other questions that we need to address here?
We started a little bit late, and unfortunately I don't have a lot of time, given that it's Sunday night and I have work to do for tomorrow.
I'm in the same boat.
Let's see. There are a couple things that people were typing up. Is there something coming up with buying things with coins? Is that a question? Not sure is that introducing a topic for discussion or not? But you can talk about that.
Well, I don't really know if that means rare coins versus gold, but rare coins already have a use. In addition to that use, they can be sold from your equipment screen, from your treasure screen for additional currency. So there are plenty of ways to use rare coins already. I should probably pop back there to show you what we were talking about.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The question referred to gold.
Oh, okay.
Gold, not coins.
Other ways to spend gold coins?
Yeah.
Well, the short of it is, yes, I want to do that. For the moment, coming up with a completely new form of content is something we want to do, but there are just other things that are more important and urgent for us to do immediately. So yes, we'll definitely do that. I have a few ideas, but nothing that I really want to talk about just yet. Part of the reason that
Okay.
sometimes I won't talk about some of my ideas just yet is because I haven't talked to the Sormores team about them. And so,
Okay.
if I say them on the stream, then it, makes it sound maybe more official or whatever than it is. And maybe the other team members don't want to do it. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there are different ways for us to use gold coins, and that's not a reason to hoard them. But you can see I have 3 million or something on my account right here.
Sure. Sure.
Um,
Sure. Sure. I have another quick question. Any chance that epic equipment could be sold for more than 10 gems so tourneys aren't a waste of time 90% of the time?
Well,
It's a
so
question from
I
Putty.
think that that's a good question. One thing, by the way, I'll say also about the gold spending is please share any ideas you have on our forums or elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a,
Uh,
that, that-
that
that's
would
a
be
that's a
really
great
helpful and
point.
interesting if you have other ways you think gold should be spent that we can look at. In terms of having equipment sell for more, I don't think that equipment needs to sell for more. I think that the equipment sell prices are lined up with the equipment buy prices that sit in the shop in a very clear way that makes sense. However, the reason the tournaments feel like a waste of time, as the person is putting it most of the time, is because the prize structure isn't that interesting or good. If we had a prize structure, a prize structure whereby the top prizes for really winning a lot of games is a net benefit, like you actually win more gems back than you pay for the tournament, plus you get equipment, something like that, then the whole concept of whether it's a waste is changed because it's no longer it's a calculated risk, but one in which there's actually a reward that's definitely more than what you pay into it. So I have no problem with creating that kind of price structure, and I think that we will. But creating that kind of price structure, again, sorry to repeat myself, requires us coming up with a system and enforcing a system whereby there isn't exploiting and we have a fairly clean and clear idea of how difficult the tournaments are. So that if you do win a tournament, like you get 24 wins or something, and you get this awesome prize, that's only going to happen once in a while, but it's worth your while to do that. So maybe you have a
Okay.
brilliant deck design or something.
Another question for you. Will we ever be able to combine equipment like we do cards?
Um,
It's actually an interesting idea.
I would like to be able to have extra equipments be useful in more ways than just selling them, but that's a very deep and complex question because any mechanic that we create has sort of a multiplicative effect in terms of the economics of equipment. And so if we
Okay.
do that, it's a lot trickier than it sounds. So yeah, maybe eventually we'll have something, but I'm not quite sure what that will be yet.
Okay, one of the last questions because I really got to go. How about cards that you can't combine that aren't eligible to be combined? Is there any chance of somehow being able to use those to combine those to make something better rather than just have them hanging around and not doing
The
anything?
cards that don't have special stuff in the card combiner.
Right,
Well, I mean,
right,
don't
exactly.
forget that, let me just choose one of those as an example. Here, this Arbalest, for example. I mean, don't forget that you can sacrifice, right? You can click sacrifice and you can exchange these things for gold and experience. So even the cards that you're not combining can be used in some way. We may add evolutions or something eventually, but we don't really have plans on that. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of players are using the sacrifice for golden experience, especially for a hero experience, and are finding that a really effective way of getting rid of cards. So I think that's a pretty decent solution already. But
Uh-huh.
if people have suggestions on other ways to use these things, I'm happy to hear them and consider them.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. I mean, like we have to wrap up, and I apologize. This was a little bit shorter than usual because we started kind of half an hour late. So this has been about 50 minutes instead of the usual hour plus. But
Well, that's
yeah, if you have
it's
suggestions,
partly my fault. It's just the setup
yeah,
didn't work very well today. So sorry
the
about that.
I mean, you guys obviously have some ideas about about these things. The best place to put those ideas so that they can be seen and heard by the dev team is the Congregate forums, which I've posted before earlier rather in the stream. I'll repost it
A
again
link
now.
to. It's on the screen now
Yeah,
as well. Yeah.
the link to the forum, the Kong forums. Um, so that's the best place to go and kind of officially post those up. If you have ideas, suggestions for how to fix things that you think are not working right or not working well, sorry. Yeah, so feel free to do that, of course. George, people want a last prize, but I don't think you're going to want to do it, which is they want to guess your underwear color for 25 gems.
I mean, yeah.
No, well, yeah, no, don't say yes before. I mean, you have to realize that how will we know if they got the right answer? I mean,
We're not doing
how do
that.
we know that this not?
Everybody knows that if I ask a trivia question about color, they all know what the answer to that is.
Bleach white.
No, every time I do trivia and the answer is a color, like 90% of the time the answer is red. Everybody knows that. I don't know if that's true right now. Never mind.
Rainbow.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're amusing yourself. I was going to give out another prize, but at this point, they've ruined it.
No, let's do. I think we should do a final door prize and we'll close it there. So how
I don't
about?
have an object to give away.
Oh, you don't?
No, I have
Oh,
one more epic tome, but I'm not opening it. That's
Oh,
my placeholder.
oh, you can't get rid of
I
it.
can, but I'm not going to.
Oh, well.
Just give a door prize
What
out
about
for.
all of our loyal
Just give a
fans?
door prize
Okay.
out for. Well, I like having a placeholder. I'm a hoarder. I don't want it coming down into my little chest area, and I'm not going to cheat on my player account. This
Uh,
is my player account. So
uh,
just give out 25 gems as a door prize.
all right, 25 gems as a door prize. Yeah, guys, if you. I'll also make a rule that if you've won a prize in the stream previously, and whether that's a trivia question or a door prize, I'm going to re-roll, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay then. So you're not going to give somebody two prizes, basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, well, it's a non-issue. The winner is Plasma Officer. Congratulations.
Indeed. Congrats.
So so rigged. It's not rigged. It's totally legit. The winner is Plasma Officer 3, and you win 25
All
gems, I
right.
guess.
Congrats. We will take note of that. You will get your prize in a few hours. Okay. Anyway, thanks guys for watching us, and we will keep on
Oh
keeping
wait.
on.
Oh wait. Apparently Plasma Officer is not in the stream. Wait.
What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, because he was probably online before and left, but it's still in the chat log. Okay, re-rolling. Sorry. Let's go.
All right then.
Here we go. Rolling again. The winner is Legendary Slow Time. Is that person? Yeah, that person is in the chat. All right. I'll make that adjustment. Congratulations.
Please make sure you tell JP what your in-game name is. And thank you guys for tuning in. We will do this again sooner rather than later. I know that we'll do a stream around the timing of the iOS launch itself. I don't know if we're going to do one next weekend or probably the weekend after that. We might do one the weekend after that. I'm pretty sure we're off next weekend because of travel. All of this stuff will be archived and posted on the YouTube channel, and we will post the dates of the next thing when we figure it out, so it shouldn't be hard to figure out on your end. Sorry for doing this at the same time as the arena, and we won't do that again.
Yeah.
And often we're on Saturday, so it's often not an issue.
And so people seem to like the stream for some reason. I don't know why, but we'll try to do longer streams. We're just two guys trying to balance personal and professional time, and we love to hang out with you, but it's also tough. So I hear the recommendation for 2 hour and 24 hour stream marathons.
24-hour stream marathons.
Yeah,
Jesus.
well, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a 24 hour stream when we collectively make like $100,000 from it. How about that? It sounds
You might want to check your contract, JP.
which
I'm just kidding.
which gives me like $0.
I'm just joking.
Zero
Yeah, I
dollars.
mean, JP and I actually have done some streaming in the past for other projects where we were on 24 hours, and I'll tell you, it is pretty tiring. It's also a little bit
Yeah,
easier to do that when you have more people on the stream. So, look, we are going to do some more streaming with other people, and we're going to try to involve some other known or let's say more professional streamers. So, yeah, there are a lot of possibilities. Glad you guys are enjoying following us, and
yeah. No, this was a
hopefully
great
it's
stream.
also
It was a,
useful in terms of what we're talking about.
and I mean, I'll not be cynical and say you just guys just want to do it to get free prizes, but you know, I appreciate that you guys enjoy your time. So
Which is why we're never doing prizes again.
let's see if you like it now.
Yeah, right. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Yeah. Later, guys. Peace.